Hi friends, welcome to the study of World Regional Geography. Now we are studying with the North America. Now see the World Regional Geography, though we have already done the continent of South America, the World Regional Geography, if you see the nature of the questions, this is important only for the preliminary examination. And what are the type of questions asked in the preliminary examination? They are more or less superficial map based questions related to the current affairs. Are you getting it? Superficial map based questions which are related to the current affairs of that particular year in the year where you are going to appear the examination. If you are appearing in 2020, then in 2019-20 ka current affairs. If you are appearing to in 2015-16, 17, 15, 16 ka current affairs. And how the current affairs? For example, if the area isn't too much in the news, they will ask you a simple physical feature of that region. For example, if US of A is in the news, they may ask you where is the Mount Rainier located, in which mountain system. They may ask you what are the formations or what are the number of lakes or what are the important lakes of this region. Or they may ask you some question which is based on that why is the Newfoundland region famous, what is the Labrador Peninsula famous, what are these mountains which are present here famous. So in this lecture series we are just superficially going through the world regional geography. How many questions in the preliminary examination? 2 to 3 questions in the preliminary examination, but the best thing about these questions is they are very simple questions. So why to leave the 2 to 3 marks which are there in the preliminary examination? जितना ज्यादा आपका score, the more you score, the more mentally relaxed you are the day after the examination. Various key comes, UPSC ka key never comes. So different classes ka key comes, and there is always, no matter how easy or how difficult the questions will be, right from my days as a student to my days as a teacher, I have seen that there are variation in the answers given by some of the keys. That not in most of the answers, but in some of the answers. Maybe out of 100 questions, there will be variation in the 7-8 questions. But that 7-8 questions, why there is variation? Because that is a question paper of UPSC, one of the toughest examinations in India. And this variations may determine your passing or failing if you are on the borderline. So don't be on the borderline. Maybe a class ka key which you are referring, a coaching institute's key, answer key which you are referring, maybe that answer is right. You will see that answer, you will count that answer as a right answer. But in the examination, if you are a borderline in the final UPSC answer key, maybe UPSC considers that answer as a wrong, and many people lose the selection on margin. And sometimes the answer key given by a coaching institute considers that answer as a wrong. Exactly opposite, that UPSC may consider that answer as a right. And so many people on the borderline also clear the examination. But in this process, what you waste is the 2 crucial months for preparation of a mains examination, which ultimately is going to decide your rank. And therefore, I always believe that you should be around 20 to 30 marks ahead of the considered borderline. If the coaching institutes are saying that the cutoff may be around 100, 110, if your score is around 120, 125, you can start the preparation from the next day itself and get out of this vicious cycle by taking a rank. Otherwise, that number of attempts, extra attempts, that vicious cycle goes on. So the preparation in the mains examination, your score in the preliminary examination will help you. And this is where the world regional geography will help you. Map based questions, most of the coaching institutes don't teach it, but these are very simple questions. What lacks is the proper understanding of the map. So why I am saying map based question? Because as I say, I hope that you open, as you listen to this lecture, you open your atlas. Whatever the atlas you are carrying, again I am showing you the 2 atlas, that is Orient Black Swan or Oxford Atlas. Open the North America physical part of this atlas. When you open the North America physical part of the atlas, you will see that what I have drawn in the board. Now, how to study this atlas? While studying this atlas, you have to make your atlas dirty, so that you don't just draw this. If you can draw this on your notes, then it's very fine, but make sure that you make that atlas dirty, and most of the things are marked in your atlas so that you will revise it while that's very easy for revising. So that is the importance of the atlas. So mark it in your atlas, whatever I teach it here. Note down, jot down some of the points. You can use the sticky notes here, or you can take down the points. Very simple map to draw. Now let us look at what are the major features around the North America. When we say North America, when we say Anglo-America, we generally refer to two countries, that is USA, whose one part is Alaska. So this part is United States of America. This part, Alaska, is also of USA, which is Alaska. This part is Alaska, but who owns it? USA owns it. Was it always a part of America? North America as a continent, America or USA, what we call is a country in that continent. The third most populous country. So the Alaska is a part of US of A, and obviously geologically it is a part of North America. But was Alaska always a part of North America? No. Alaska was initially part of Russia. Russia thought that it is a useless territory, always frozen. And therefore it sold Alaska to USA. And USA, after buying it, realized that this frozen land has numerous gold deposits in Yukon River, and it has also a hidden mineral wealth. Also, Alaska is a storehouse of fresh water. We'll come to that while doing the World Economic Geography. The other country which is here is the Canada. And the third country which is here is the Mexico. Now, as I am teaching you, maybe this area is in the news this year, so you have to focus, because Cuba has always been a communist country, but now there has been a step towards normalizing the diplomatic relationship between the Cuba, that is, this island is Cuba. Which island? This island is Cuba, a hardcore communist country, and exactly on the top of Cuba is mighty capitalist USA. So obviously the capitalist versus communist debate, and the capitalism versus communism, the relationship was not normal, but now there has been a process of normalizing of diplomatic relationship between Cuba and USA. So the first question which I want to ask you, and you mark it, is which state separates Cuba from USA? See it in your atlas. What separates Cuba from USA? The state of Florida. The state of Florida separates Cuba from USA. The state of Florida separates the Cuba from USA. The second question I want to ask you, if the state of Florida separates Cuba from USA, what separates Mexico from Cuba? There is a interesting name for that peninsula. That peninsula's name is, if I draw a boundary of Mexico here, that is, what is the name of this peninsula? This peninsula is Yucatan Peninsula. Yucatan Peninsula. So the second question UPSC may ask you is, where is the Yucatan Peninsula located? And you know that Yucatan Peninsula is located in Mexico. And what separates Mexico from the Cuba? This country is Cuba. So the Yucatan Channel separates Mexico from Cuba. Yucatan Peninsula is in Mexico. The name of a channel is Yucatan Channel separates, I am writing here as YC, Yucatan Channel separates Mexico from Cuba. At the same time, if I ask you an alternate question, that can we say the Yucatan Channel, which separates Mexico from Cuba, joins two seas? So what is the name of a sea? Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. So The Yucatan Channel is a narrow channel which joins the Gulf of Mexico with the Caribbean Sea. With the Caribbean Sea. The Caribbean Sea. Now, if I ask you what are the name of these islands, you will find these islands are known as Greater Antilles Islands. So, the Greater Antilles are the name of these islands here. You can see here in the atlas. So, mark this as an Greater Antilles Island. And can you see the trench which is located in the Caribbean Sea? It is given in the Orient Longman Atlas. And is it given in the Oxford Atlas? The major map, you can see here Yucatan channel connects the Gulf of Mexico with the Caribbean Sea. It is not given here, but the name of the islands is given as the Greater Antilles Island. You can see the small trench which is located here in the Caribbean Sea is the Cayman Trench. This is the Cayman Trench. So I am writing the name of a trench here, Cayman Trench. Cayman. So this is about that part. Let us repeat. Gulf of Mexico, this part on the southern part of USA. This is the Strait of Florida. Strait of Florida, why? Because this tapering part which is projecting into the sea is known as Florida Peninsula. So the Strait of Florida separates USA from Cuba. Or we can say the Gulf of Mexico or the Strait of Florida. What is a strait? Strait is a narrow water body which connects two larger water bodies. So in that technical definition, we can also say the Strait of Florida connects the Gulf of Mexico with the sea here. What is the name of a sea here? It is what is the name of a sea? It is Sargasso Sea, or it is a part of an Atlantic Ocean. So both the questions can come. It connects the Sargasso Sea region or it connects the Atlantic Ocean region. Now I will rub this Cayman Islands. Connects the Atlantic Ocean. The second, Yucatan Peninsula is located in the Mexico. Now the Yucatan Peninsula, if it is located in the Mexico, there is a small channel known as an Yucatan Channel which separates the Gulf of Mexico from the Caribbean Sea or connects the Gulf of Mexico from the Caribbean Sea, depending upon what is the question in the examination, but it also separates Mexico from Cuba. Cuba, remember Fidel Castro, communist, the height of communism, and Cuba is one of the largest producer of sugarcane, and it has one of the best healthcare, public healthcare system, not private, but the public healthcare system in the world. It is one of the best healthcare systems in the world. Now coming to the next part, that is the USA. The first thing I want to ask you is what determines this border between the USA and the Mexico? It is determined by a river which is known as a Rio Grande River system. So can you see the Rio Grande River? Here it is given in the Oxford Atlas also, while also it is given in the Orient Longman Atlas. What you have to remember is the Rio Grande River forms a boundary between the Rio Grande River. Rio Grande forms a boundary between Mexico and USA. Forms the boundary between Mexico and USA. Now coming to USA, what is this part known as? This is known as what is a Gulf? Gulf is a water body which is surrounded by land on the three sides. So a water body in between here which is surrounded by land on the three sides is known as a Gulf of California. Is known as a Gulf of California. Why it is known as the Gulf of California? Because the southern part of USA and this part of Mexico is known as California, the city of Silicon Valley, the region of an Hollywood, as well as Los Angeles, Hollywood, as well as the Silicon Valley region. So if the Silicon Valley, where it is located, in the northern part of USA or in the southern part of USA, this comes as a question. What is your answer? With the Silicon Valley is located in California. California mein, where it is, California is the southern part of USA. This is the southern part of USA, is the California. Now let us forget about USA, come to Canada. In the Canada region, what is this ocean here? It is an Pacific Ocean. In the Canada region, one striking feature of the Canada region is the Labrador Sea. That is, surrounding the Labrador region is the Labrador Sea. I have drawn Greenland too big because that is the problem of projection, my drawing. So this is the Labrador Sea, but you don't have to worry too much about the Labrador Sea. But what is the question is, Greenland geologically, when we say geologically or physically, is a part of North America. That is why I have drawn here. But politically, the Greenland is a part of which continent? It is a part of which country? Greenland is a part of Denmark. Denmark is an European country, so the Greenland politically is a part of the Greenland is a part of Europe. Politically, the Greenland is a part of Europe. Now, the question which UPSC may ask you is, which strait separates North America from Greenland? And you will find here the answer is Davis Strait. The answer is Davis Strait. Answer is Davis Strait. Davis Strait. How to remember it? We will remember it when we'll come chronologically to this part here. So the Davis Strait, you remember, separates Greenland from northern part of North America, or politically if we say it separates Canada from Greenland region, or conversely we can also separate it, connects Baffin Bay with the Labrador Sea region. It connects Baffin Bay with Labrador Sea region. See, don't worry about too many facts which will come. You just have to have a generalized idea. Labrador Sea is in which ocean? Labrador Sea. So remember, Labrador Current is there in the ocean. It is an example of a cold current. It meets near Canada, Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf Stream meets the Labrador Current to generate a rich fishing area, temperature inversion, dense fogs in this region. Why is it so? So we will come to that. So you know that Labrador region lies in the Canada, and therefore the Labrador Sea is the sea surrounding the Canada. Now Davis Strait separates Greenland from Canada. Repeat with me, the Davis Strait separates Greenland from Canada, because there are some of the important states which are asked in the preliminary examination. One of the state is Davis Strait, one of the state is Bering Strait, one of the state is English Channel, one of the state is Yucatan Channel, one of the state is Strait of Florida, the other state is the Isthmus of Marmara, the other state is the state in the North Sea region, that is. So you should know Gibraltar Strait is the another important state. So you should know the location of the states, because very simple factual questions come from this part. So the Davis Strait separates Labrador from the Greenland region. Now you see a scooped area here surrounding the Canadian Shield. When I say Canadian Shield, if you have done the earlier lectures, the first thing that should strike in your mind is shield. When we say Deccan Plateau, Peninsular Plateau is an example of a shield. That means what is a Peninsular Plateau? A very old region that means here Canadian Shield is also a very old region. If Peninsular Plateau is rich in minerals, iron ore, that means the Canadian Shield region also should be rich in minerals. Why? Because shield means the oldest portion, very stable portion of the Earth's crust, and generally such regions are rich in metallic minerals. Is that the reason that this New England region of North America or USA? New England region means people from England came and migrated here. They gave the name New England region. So this New England region, Washington DC, New York, Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, most of the major towns are located here. Most of the major cities of USA are located here. And we also know that USA is also not extremely, USA is rich in continent, but there is high amount of inequality. Very rich, poor. Inequality lies there. So this is a rich part, New England region. Why is it a rich part? Because physiographically I have still not done the Great Lakes. So Great Lakes से आपको पानी मिलता है from the Canadian Shield and the Labrador region. You get iron ore. From these mountains here you get coal. We will come to that again later so that it gets fixed in your mind. But the scooped area which is here is known as what? It is known as an Hudson Bay region. Scooped area is known as an Hudson Bay region. The scooped area here is known as an Hudson Bay region. Now there are numerous islands here. That this one is Baffin Island, there is a Victoria Island, etc. I want you to search in the atlas and I want you to locate something which is very peculiar here. You will find something very peculiar. You will find here, if it's an Oxford Atlas, you will find N written in reddish color. If it is an Orient Longman Atlas, and I prefer that you use these two atlases because these are sufficient for general studies, you will find here that it is written as the magnetic North Pole. So the North Magnetic Pole is located here, and that is the only important point here. That is the North Magnetic Pole. North Pole, but which it is not the North physical North Pole, but the magnetic North Pole is located here, and I am asking you where it is located, in which group of islands. You will find here, remember, it is located in the Queen Elizabeth Islands. Don't remember the name of a smaller island which is here, just remember the name of a group of islands, what they are called. They are known as the Queen Elizabeth Island. So the question, if I ask you, where is the North Magnetic Pole located? Near which country? You have the answer, Canada. In which group of island? The Queen Elizabeth Island. North Magnetic Pole is located here in the Queen Elizabeth Island. Queen Elizabeth Island. Even I'll mark this with reddish color. Queen Elizabeth Island has the North Magnetic Pole is located here in the Queen Elizabeth Island region. Now come to here, there is a sea here. If you want to remember, you may remember, or if you don't want to remember, then also it is fine. That is, what is the name of a sea above the Alaska? Above the Alaska, it is Beaufort Sea. It is the Beaufort Sea. But come here now. What is this continent which I have drawn? This continent which I have drawn is, I have not drawn it properly to the scale because we are not going to study. I have drawn this just for this point, and this is one of the most important part here, which has a potential of being asked as a question, though it has been asked several times, still it can be asked as a question, and that is the part which separates North America from Asia. What it is? It is Bering Strait. Which strait separates North America from Asia? It is Bering Strait. If you remember the Oceanographica lectures, I had asked you to concentrate on some of the seas, and here this was one of the sea. It is an Bering Strait. Bering Strait, a narrow water body which separates USA from Asia. Why USA from Asia? Because Alaska is a part of USA. Or which separates North America from Asia. Or which connects Bering Sea with the Beaufort Sea region. Or which connects Pacific Ocean with the Arctic Ocean region. Which connects the Bering Sea with the Beaufort Sea, or which connects the Pacific Ocean with the Arctic Ocean region. Arctic Ocean region. So if I ask you what, Arctic Ocean region, which connects the Pacific Ocean with the Arctic Ocean. Or the general question which has been asked many times in the past is, what separates USA or North America from Asia? It is the Bering Strait. Now let me use your knowledge of geomorphology. What kind of a plate boundary is this? Converging plate boundary, diverging plate boundary, or a transform plate boundary? Pacific Ocean is a shrinking ocean. Why it is shrinking ocean? Because the North America is coming towards Asia. So that means this Bering Strait region is an example of an convergence plate boundary, converging plate boundary. And इसीलिए in geomorphology we did that this is an volcanically rich region known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. Pacific Ring of Fire has the maximum number of volcanoes in the world, surrounds the Pacific Ocean. Why? Because it is the converging plate boundary. It is a converging plate boundary. Now, there are some of the islands here which are known as Aleutian Islands, but not important. But come to this Gulf of California region. You must have seen the movie also, San Andreas. And why? Because this fault system here, again, this is an example of an rift valley. Many students have asked me doubt also that how come a fault system is there? This is because the Pacific plate here, the American plate and the Pacific plate in this part are moving slightly parallel to each other, and therefore in California we have a transform boundary which is famous for earthquakes, and it is known as a San Andreas fault. San Andreas fault system. So the question here again from the GS point of view is very simple. Where is the San Andreas fault system located? It is located in the California region. The San Andreas fault system is located in the California region. The San Andreas fault system is located in the California region. What kind of fault it is? A transform fault boundary. It is an conservative plate margin. It is a transform plot boundary. This is a destructive plate margin. Why? Because it is a converging plate boundary. So this is all the major parts you should remember. Again, let me repeat the important point. Bering Strait separates Asia from North America, or Asia from USA, or Russia from USA. The Alaska was a part of Russia, but it was sold to the USA. Then the Queen Elizabeth Island ka famous thing is, it is the magnetic North Pole is located here. Which North Pole? Magnetic North Pole. Davis Strait, remember B and D, alphabetical order. Asia ke paas it is B, Bering Strait. Europe ke paas it is D, the Davis Strait. How to remember? After A, what follows? B follows. So Asia ke baad B follows, Bering Strait. After D, what follows? E follows. So Davis Strait, Europe ke paas. So this is the way you remember it. Davis Strait, Europe ke paas. Then we have the Hudson Bay region. We have the Canadian Shield and the Labrador Peninsula region. The question, if it comes in the examination, Labrador Peninsula is located in which country? Canada. Why is it important? It is important for metallic minerals, especially iron ore. Labrador region is rich in iron ore. Then come to the Atlantic Ocean, Sargasso Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico में one major river which drains is the Rio Grande River, and this Rio Grande River also forms a boundary between USA and Mexico region. The other important river which I have not drawn is the Mississippi Missouri river system. The Ganga of USA, or the largest river of USA, is the Mississippi Missouri river system. It also runs in the Gulf of Mexico. We have done that in the delta. So that is why you see, do your geography very properly. The regional geography is just like a revision. We will try to revise most of the points here so that your geography becomes easier for the preliminary examination, coming preliminary examination. Gulf of Mexico is separated from the Sargasso Sea by the Florida Strait, or we can say the USA is separated from Cuba by the Florida Strait. On the other hand, Yucatan Peninsula lies in the country of Mexico, and the Yucatan Channel separates the Gulf of Mexico from the Caribbean Sea region. So that was the surrounding part of the North America. Now let us come to the physiography of North America. When I say physiography of North America, we say that what is the North America made up of? The North America physiographically can be divided into the North America can be divided into the Western Highlands. Western Highlands, which are made up of Rockies Mountain. Which are made up of Rocky Mountains. Second, it is divided into Central Lowlands. This entire part is the Central Lowland region. Central Lowlands. Third, it is divided into the Eastern Highlands. Why? These mountains which are there, this line which I am showing you is a mountain system. This line which I am showing you is a mountain. This line is a mountain, but they are old mountains. Labrador Peninsula, Labrador Plateau region, Canadian Plateau region is a mountain. And how to know whether it is a highland or not? Any atlas you are carrying, you see this western part is yellowish or brownish in color. In the atlas, green part means plain, yellowish or brownish part means it is an highland region, yellow means at a lower height, brown means at a greater height, gray means still greater height, and the white color means it is an ice cap, and we know that the ice cap is at a highest height in the normal region. So you can see this entire Labrador Peninsula, and there is one more plateau here which I forgot here, that is the Laurentia Plateau. Laurentia Plateau region of Canada is an example of an highland. So this entire part is the Eastern Highlands. Is Eastern Highlands. And lastly, this part, though not important from the examination point of view, because the questions will not come from this part, but still, because we are going to study holistically, is just like India mein how it is, the peninsular plateau region, फिर hills, फिर बीच में the Ganga plains, Indo-Gangetic plains. So Western Highlands, Rockies are like Himalayas, highest mountain. Central Lowlands is like the Great Plains of USA, is like Great Plains of India. Peninsular Plateau region is the Eastern Highland region, older plateau. And surrounding the Peninsular Plateau we have done in Indian geography is the West Coastal Plains and the East Coastal Plains. So in USA you have Southeast Coastal Plains. Why? Because it is the coastal plains in the Southeast region. So we have the Southeast Coastal Plains. We have the Southeast Coastal Plain system. So these are the 4 physiographic divisions of the North America. Now let us study each and every physiographic division very fast. Now Western Highlands or the Rockies. Now what are these Western Highlands or the Rockies? These Rockies are young tertiary fold mountains of alpine origin. That is, now I will have to rub some of the parts of the map so that we can use this board more efficiently. So we are going to do the Western Highlands. I will rub this St. Andreas Fault. I will rub the Pacific Ocean, Bering Strait, Asia, Arctic Ocean, etc. These are commonly known as Rockies. And what are the Rockies? Rockies are young tertiary fold mountains. Rockies are young tertiary fold mountains of alpine origin. Fold mountains of alpine origin. Now why I am underlining the alpine origin? Because all the young fold mountains in the world which were formed in the later age known as a tertiary age. Tertiary age means the recent age jahan we are living, jahan pe human beings, Homo sapiens originated, because Earth itself is 4.5 billion years old. Mohenjo-daro, Harappan civilization or the other civilizations are not that old. So, because human beings did not exist from the first day, that is the 4.5 billion years ago. In fact, the Earth was very different in the Cretaceous period. We did that in geomorphology from the Wegener's theory. Sometimes dinosaurs used to rule the world. Today, human beings are roaming the world. So, the Homo sapiens, the age of Homo sapiens is known as a tertiary age. So the tertiary age means the recent age, and the mountains which are formed in the tertiary age are young fold mountains and this kind of origin is known as alpine origin. I want to ask you the question, what are the other mountains of the alpine origin? Rockies are the young fold mountains of alpine origin. What are the other fold mountains of the alpine origin? We have done this, that the other mountains of the alpine origin are Andes of South America, Andes of South America, Himalayas of India or Asia, Himalayas of Asia, and Atlas mountain systems. Atlas mountain systems. Where are the Atlas mountain systems? Africa mein, the northern part of Africa is the Atlas mountain system. The northeastern part of Africa is the Atlas mountain system northwest Africa. And the Alps, proper Alps of Europe. That is why I always say in my lectures, that is the Andes, Himalayas, Atlas, Alps and the Rockies are cousins. They all belong to the same origin. They all belong to the alpine origin. Such origin means mountain building period. So जिस origin से Alps mountain were formed, उसी origin से during that same period Atlas were formed, during that same period Himalayas were formed, during that same period Andes were formed, and during that same period the Rockies were formed. So these all are the young mountains, and because they are young mountains, they are of a greater height. So after Himalayas, Andes are the highest mountain system, then Rockies, then Alps, Atlas mountains. This all are the result of continental drifting. Now this Rockies, now look in your atlas now. These Rockies are known by different names. In Alaska, they are known by different names. There are two names here, Alaska Range and the Brooks Range. Now, which is to the north? Brooks Range is to the north, while the Alaska Range is to the south. So here they are known in Alaska as Alaska Range. And here they are known as the Brooks Range. Here they are known as the Brooks Range. Brooks Range are to the north. Now, what is more important is not where is the Alaska Range or the Brooks Range. The highest point of North America, that is more important. Just the highest point of the Asia is Himalayas. So I say the highest point of North America is Mount McKinley. So can you find the Mount McKinley? 6194 meters. So Mount McKinley, the highest point of North America, lies in the Alaska Range. Mount McKinley, the highest point of North America, lies in the Alaska Range. In which mountain system? In the Rockies. In the Rockies, in which country? Alaska is a part of which country? In USA. So, in USA. It lies in Alaska Range in USA. How to remember this? Why Mount McKinley is the highest point? Remember, Coca-Cola ka water is Kinley. From where does the name Kinley comes? The name Kinley comes from here. Kinley ka, if you see the label of Kinley, I don't know what label there, because the industrial designs and the designs or the pictures keep on changing, but the Kinley generally has, the Kinley packaged drinking water generally has a photo of a mountain system behind. So just have your good observation skills. So that will help you even in the interview and broadening your horizons and even in the service. So Mount McKinley, why the Kinley water bottle has the picture of a mountain? Why? Because the name is derived from here. Kinley safe drinking water. जैसे हमारा is Himalaya का water bottle, that is pure water. Mount the next highest point is Mount Logan, but what is more important is Mount Logan, that is this mountain which I am drawing here now. You see, it is inside which country? Mount Logan is the highest point of Canada. In Canada. Mount Logan is the highest point in Canada. The Rockies are then known by different names such as the Cascade Ranges. They are known by different names here as a Cascade Ranges. And because they run parallel to the coast here, they are also known as the Coast Ranges. Also known as an Coast Range. So the question here, they can ask you, where is the Cascade Range located and where is the Coast Range located? You know the answer is in the North America. Cascade and the Coast Range are located in the North America. Now, because the Rockies mountain is collection of so many mountain systems, the Rockies are known as Rockies Cordillera. Cordillera means a collection of different mountain systems. Now, Here also you will see that there are some of the important mountains which are there in the Atlas. The one of the mountain which is located here is, let me use a different color so that you don't get confused, is this mountain. I will mark this mountain as number 1. Then there is another mountain which is located here, is number 2, and the third mountain here is number 3. What are these mountains and what is its importance? So the importance lies of 1 and 2, not of number 3. We have already studied the 1 and 2 mountains. The first mountain which is here is Mount Rainier. The second mountain which is here is the Mount Shasta. And the third mountain which is here is Mount Whitney. Remember, Mount Rainier and Mount Shasta are volcanic mountains. In fact, Mount Rainier is the highest volcanic peak of North American continent. It is the highest volcanic peak, or it is the highest volcanic mountain. It is the highest volcanic mountain. Where has Mount Shasta? Mount Shasta, we have a parasitic cone. What is a parasitic cone? On one volcanic cone, when there are numerous other cones, these are known as an parasitic cones. So on one major volcanic cone, if there are parasitic cones. So that is why question, where is Mount Rainier? It is Mount Rainier. In the Mount in ascending and descending order. Mount McKinley, Mount Shasta, Mount Rainier, Mount Shasta, and Mount. That is the only thing you should remember. Second, and we'll do about the 2 plateaus which are located here. So till then, again, thank you very much.